This video tutorial discusses the active and the passive voice. Important tools to be able to use when writing, and also in order to criticize or to at least critically read other texts. As an introduction, it's important to realize that only transitive verbs have two voices. That is, you can only make an active or a passive sentence. You can only make a passive sentence out of an active one if it is a transitive verb. And this means if it's transitive for one object, two object, or an object with an object complement, for example. An example of the active voice is she sold the painting. So somebody did something. That's the active voice. And in the passive voice, we have a role reversal. The painting was sold by her. To make the passive, you have this transitive verb is then transformed into tredje formen, sell, sold, sold. It's that tredje formen, the third form, and with the form of the verb be in the helping position there. So, transforming from active to passive, what happens? Let's look at these examples. A team of detectives is investigating the crime. The crime is being investigated by the detectives. So here you have the subject, a team of detectives. The predicator is investigating here. And the crime is the direct object. And if we look in the passive form, what has happened? Well, the crime has taken sentence initial position. So we have the crime now becomes a subject. Is being investigated, a form of the verb be, and this is the third form, the participle form. Investigated is the predicator. And now, this part here, you don't have a direct object or anything, but you have what is called an adverbial of agency. So this is a transitive. This is the transitive verb. And here, this is transitive as well, except that you have this in the passive form. So, once again, just so we get the idea right, to make the passive form you need to have a transitive verb. In this case, the police hid something. And the police will take the final position. The listening device will take the initial position. And hid will take a position here. But you'll have to have, it'll change its form. So the listening device was hidden by the police. As you see, there's a form of the verb be here, and you have the third form of the verb hide, hid, hidden. And now you have subject, predicator, and this is an adverbial of agency. So why have the passive then? Well, because it makes a difference in focus or emphasis, because it brings the direct object to sentence initial position. It places the receiver of the action in a prominent position, which is what I've just said, and it plays down the importance of the doer. For example, she was taken to the hospital by an ambulance instead of an ambulance took her to the hospital. Why might you want to play down the importance of the doer? For several reasons. Because, for example, the doer, the identity is unknown, or it's unnecessary to identify the doer. For example, here, it may be tactless to identify the doer. For example, if you're writing a research paper, instead of saying I changed the test tubes. You might say the test tubes were then changed. You don't need to identify the doer there. And lastly, at least in terms of critical reading, perhaps it could be that somebody has intentionally avoided identifying the doer, or if not intentionally, there is some kind of ideological background to not identifying the doer. So what use is knowledge of the passive or active voice? Well, compare the following. How does it affect your perception of reality? Press pause for a few seconds and consider the sentence. How does this affect your perception of reality? And this is so here you have the headline, and this was the first paragraph in a real newspaper article. Once again, I invite you to press the pause button and consider which one is passive, which one is active, and together with the choice of words, which one is more positive towards the police and which is more positive towards the people who were shot. And could this reflect an ideological stance in the newspapers? Press pause and consider this for a moment. Now consider the following two ways of reporting the same event. A Republican bomb devastated a Royal Ulster Constabulary station. This is in Northern Ireland, written by the Daily Telegraph. A massive car bomb exploded outside an RUC police station. So here was the Guardian version. And here we are told what exploded, a massive car bomb, and what was damaged outside, but only info about the position. So a massive car bomb exploded, so it was a car bomb which was damaged. And exploded is an intransitive verb here. So a massive car bomb exploded, and there's no transitivity involved here. Here we are told what did the devastating and what was devastated. A Republican bomb devastated something else. In the last example, using an intransitive verb, you see that it's reality but reflected in a different way. So linguistic choices, that is, lexis and syntax, made in a text can construct different accounts or linguistic representations of events in the real world. Our knowledge of the world is mediated through the media. The media is a powerful site for the production and circulation of social meanings. And the media provides the dominant ways available for the rest of us to talk about events and people. So by reading one of the two different articles earlier on, might that affect how we in our turn talk about it, and therefore our perception of reality? And using linguistic tools, we can gain insights into how the media constructs our world, because it is their perception of reality, not necessarily how reality in fact is. This is the end of the recording.